Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633 back with another Star Wars review. Today we're going to take a look at the Star Wars 6-inch Black Series, Admiral Ackbar, and First Order Officer 2-pack that's exclusive to Toys R Us. Now this is actually a very interesting set, since Admiral Ackbar was a character that I didn't think they would actually get into the 6-inch scale, since we didn't get it during The Force Awakens and even into Rogue One, so it's nice that we actually got this character in the 6-inch scale. It's also really nice to see the First Order Officer, since this particular character, or just the officer in general, did not make it into the 3 3/4 yet, so this is actually the debut of a Hasbro toy based on a First Order Officer. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box. The box is a little bigger than usual. It's very reminiscent to the one released in the Target gift set during Force Awakens, but it does have the Toys R Us sticker there. Shows a picture of Admiral Ackbar and the First Order Trooper there. Has the names listed there. And has bios on the back. Now, something I did not know about Admiral Ackbar until looking at the bio is that he actually is, or at least was, a Grand Admiral after the events of Return of the Jedi. So that's really nice to have a little bit more of a backstory that I didn't know about until reading that particular bio. Anyways, we're going to take a look at Ackbar first. Ackbar is pretty cool, and his articulation is pretty nice too. His head is a little bit different shape than some other characters because he is an alien design, so articulation is a bit hindered. His head can kind of look left and right, but it's a little bit hindered due to his head design. He does have a hinged mouth, so that's really nice, so you could do the It's a Trap as well for the 6-inch, so that's really cool. He has ball hinges at the shoulders with good range of movement outward. He has ball hinged wrists with, elbows, so that's really nice, and ball hinged wrists. He also includes swivel at the waist and a little bit of an ab crunch, but there isn't a whole lot you're going to get there. He has ball joints in the hips, swivels at the thighs, double joints in the knees, and fully jointed ankles. So he does have some pretty decent articulation. It's pretty much expected what we've seen with the 6-inch Black Series scale. He does have this really interesting looking blaster, which is unique to him for what I can tell. I don't think any other figure in the 6-inch scale actually has this type of blaster, so that's really awesome. And now we're going to take a look at the First Order Officer. In terms of overall design, it's pretty bland and generic. Articulation, the exact same thing. He has ball-jointed head with no restrictions. He has ball-hinged shoulders, ball-hinged elbows, ball-hinged wrists, swivels at the waist, with a lot better ab crunch this time around, since there isn't really anything hindering it. He has ball-jointed hips, swivels at the thighs, double-jointed knees, and fully jointed ankles, so that's really cool. His blaster is pretty much just a very similar type of blaster we've seen with some of the First Order kind of characters. You can actually store the gun in his holster, which does slide in and stay in really nicely, so that's really cool. And his cap is actually removable. It is just a painted head with hair there, but it's still really nice, and I think they did a fantastic job in their overall sculpt. This particular First Order Trooper, though, reminds me a whole lot about the trooper that actually was talking to Kylo Ren, saying that a girl was with the rebels that were attacking, or the resistance that was attacking, so I think this is what this particular character is based on, so that's pretty cool. One thing to note is, for those who are not too familiar with the designs, it's actually surprising since I was actually not expecting this, but this Ackbar is actually based fully on his The Last Jedi design rather than The Force Awakens. He had a different design in The Force Awakens, as you could see with the 3 3/4 one here, and while it's pretty close, there is a whole lot of difference in terms of color and just the overall way that his suit looks like, so that's pretty cool. Since he doesn't have any representation in the 6-inch scale for this particular character, it's still okay, since we did have an Admiral Ackbar in general, although I know a lot of fans would prefer a original trilogy version of Ackbar. Now, here is the First Order Trooper, and since there isn't any other 3 3/4 ones to scale with, I will actually compare him with General Hux, which actually looks a little bit different in terms of design, obviously since he is a general and this is just an officer, but the overall suits did change kind of a bit between the two films, it looks like, so that's still nice that we actually have an army builder-like character to go with displays. One thing to note that could be a problem, and it's most likely a problem, is that in order to get a bunch of the officers, you would end up with the ton of extra Ackbars. So while it's cool that we were able to get this particular character in the 6-inch scale, I can understand why it might be a little frustrating for those who just care for the First Order Officer in the set, since there isn't any other way to army build First Order Officers at this point, since this is the only release so far. Other than that, I think this is a very nice set. And it was actually quite a surprise that the set was even made to begin with, so I highly recommend picking this one up. Obviously, since this is a Toys R Us exclusive, it's pretty much the only way to get it, at least in retail, would be either from toysrus.com or in store. So your best bet is to just check between the two, and hopefully it still should be there, because the last time I checked, this set was actually still in stock on toysrus.com. Anyways, please kind of subscribe and check out Hero Club and Hero Taku. Also check out Returner Darkon633, and don't forget to check down the other channels down below. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen in order to see my content go up as soon as possible. I'm back with more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.